Because of the lack of potable water in some quarters and insufficient water in others, Nigerians have over the years sought for alternative sources of water, and they come in various packages. One area of relief for cooking and in some cases drinking has been sachet and bottled water. This has become a booming business in the country, with several individuals involved in small and medium businesses of making water. Under the watchful eyes of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, they're expected to process water to a quality state that is safe for consumption before it is packaged and presented to members of the public.
Sometimes when people tell you that they treat water, you mention pure water, well, quote and unquote, other pure whatever it is. Now, when they treat this water, sometimes they even denature the water. Water is worse than it was from the source. But because of the regulatory requirement that they have to treat this water, they go all out to do it. Even the regulators sometimes prescribe methods that are not proper. We had instances where they tell them that you have to install these facilities to make sure that the water is good. But such things are not necessary. Ask the question. For instance, using reverse osmosis, which is exclusively for treatment of salt water. But most of the bottled water that we have here in Nigeria today, they are produced using reverse osmosis. And so they have removed every nutrient that you have in it. So what you are just consuming is just the H2O, no nutrient, nothing in it. Okay, and so that is prescribed. And so when you have such things, that shows that the people, what we are taking, it's not what we should be taking. And we also have instances where when you even take the water, the one that's the bottled water, there is what we call the phthalates in a PET bottle. Okay, this phthalates could get into the water and you consume it, and it has an impact on the DNA because they are called one of those endocrine disrupting chemicals that we have. And so this has been reported severally, and these are the things that we consume on a daily basis. So we say that apart from the sources, the way we treat the water, the way we store the water really contributes immensely towards the quality of that water, whether it's going to be good for you to consume or not.
Comparable also are other sources of water.
The groundwater, the groundwater is abstracted from the ground, and what you have in the ground is a function of the soil that is around it. Okay, now when it rains, there's percolation of water, and when water percolates, it goes further down and it gets into the well or into a borehole through the casing or whatever you have there. And when it now gets there, if you have, for instance, the surrounding of your well that has dungs, out from cow or whatever is the source, have dung, then the water will pick it and it goes down. And it goes down, it gets to the water that you eventually consume, and that's also a serious sanitation. Has some serious sanitation impact. Now, if you look at waste that is being disposed by people too, apart from industries or from human activities, because we don't dispose of our waste properly, or probably due to lack of facilities or because we choose not to do, we have all this get into the water. And when it gets to the water, the content of that waste will get to the water. You take the water, at the end of the day, you have the consequence of whatever you have there.
The safe place in the provision of water should be the government through the various water corporations.
Well, filtering doesn't get rid of everything that you have to deal with. There are many ways, many steps and methods for purification, and those are the things that are achieved by public water works. You go through all the systems, including filtering. Filtering will take care of particles that are a particular size, particularly big enough to be filtered out. But for instance, the microorganisms I talked about, be it bacteria, be it some viruses or protozoa that cause diarrhea, you won't get those things by filtering. So there are other things that need to be done, chemicals that need to be added, like sometimes we add chlorine. There are several things that need to be done. Boiling is perhaps the easiest that can be done at the home level. But again, it's almost like what happens with the public water works. After you've gone through the filtering and the what do you call it now, where you actually allow the dirt to sediment, And you go through all your processes for purification, and you have pure water, not pure water from the sachet, but you have pure water that you've gotten.
However, analysts still express doubt when it comes to the potability of this source of water.
The water that is obtained from the waterworks, for instance, because it's not readily available, it has passed through a lot of pipes that are broken, picked up debts on the way, and to get delivered to the resident where it's being consumed. Along the line, yes, you have particles in it sometimes, but the microbiological quality will have been affected and compromised because all these are undesirable things that get into the water. And when they get into the water, you consume it. That's why you have incidents of diarrhea, incidents of dysentery, incidents of typhoid that people complain of every now and then. And there are a lot of other people that buy their water from malams, hawking the water, or even water tank. We had an issue recently, that should be in February, when water tankers supplied water to the facility and they detected a lead in it, and that's a serious one. Yeah.